Okay, so today is a big day. A big day for me at least, and probably quite a few others. Because exactly 1 year ago today, the Nintendo Switch 2 released. And it's been a decent first year for the console. Now, I absolutely love my Switch 2. It's probably my favourite console right now. Because I feel in an age where, consoles getting less exclusives and the exclusives being a bit, let's say, lackluster. Nintendo are the last one that won't let their exclusives go anywhere else. And I feel that with the Switch, the first Switch, they started experimenting more, and I think that's quite, they've continued that with the Switch 2 with the likes of Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and we've got GameCube games we can play on there through the Switch Online service. And I want to get onto one very important thing, third party support. And we have had a lot of third party support, and there's more coming, and I just want to show you a good example of that. Now, as we know, the Switch 2 is, let's say, a bit underpowered compared to the likes of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And here's a recent third-party release. This is Resident Evil Requiem, one of the best games I've played this year so far. And compared to the PS5 version, look how good this game looks. This is a third-party game. This has got, we wouldn't have had this on the Switch. It wouldn't have looked nowhere near as good. But look how gorgeous this game looks on the Switch 2. Obviously there's some, takeaways. There's obviously some sacrifices, that's the right word, I think. But, it's amazing. And another example, hold on, I'll show you. Look how good it looks in handheld mode. It's almost exactly the same. It's almost exactly the same as being on the TV. Now, where this is leading is more third-party developers are wanting to develop for the Switch 2, and that's pretty big for Nintendo because it's always been known for its exclusives. They've always had the best exclusives, but now we're getting Resident Evil, the latest Resident Evil games, native ports, not cloud stuff. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth just released, and they look absolutely fantastic on the Switch 2. For an underpowered system as well, a big one that most people get every year, I won't be, is the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. That's a very demanding game, and it just feels like more companies, publishers and developers are giving a shit about Nintendo now, getting the latest games on there. We're getting Elden Ring even, I know we had Dark Souls on the Switch 1, but how big is Elden Ring on the Switch 2, Now, in this Mario Cube is my Switch 2 collection, right? Now, obviously we've got the Nintendo exclusives, I've got it as a download, but I've got that physical as well, and other, Pokemon and whatever. But look how many third-party games are here as well. We've got Chronos, we've got Street Fighter 6, which is probably my most played game on the Switch 2. We've got Bravely Default, Cyberpunk, Yakuza, loads of Yakuza, Fatal Frame, Resident Evil. There's some more here. Indiana Jones, that's another good port for the Switch 2. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, Pragmata. Okay, unfortunately some of these are key cards, but I don't remember my collection being this big for the Switch, for the original Switch, this far into, in 1 year, and it's really impressive how many third-party titles are on this console. We also have my Switch 1 collection. There's 3 layers of Switch games here. And as far as I know, majority of these are backwards compatible with the Switch 2, and they're enhanced on the Switch 2. Some I have paid upgrades, but this is one I haven't played yet. But yeah, and this has got you know, enhancements on the Switch 2. Where else we got? Where's Mario? We've got Mario Galaxy here somewhere and other stuff. But yeah, you've got all these games, most of these games that are playable on the Switch 2. So, you know, you can bring your old library over as well. And currently, these are all my downloaded games. And ones that I've installed. You know, I've got Virtua Fighter, Ninja Turtles, Capcom Fighting Collection, Pokemon, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That's a really good port on this, by the way. But yeah, mixture of Switch and Switch 2 games. So what I'm getting at is I think we've had a really good first year with the Switch 2. We've got more exclusives coming. I think the biggest one that I'm looking forward to is the new Dust Bloods by From Software. Because Bloodborne is one of my favourite games ever. Got a new Fire Emblem coming. Can't think what else is on the top of my head, but the next big release coming out this month is the new Star Fox. I can't wait for that new Star Fox because, you know, I've always wanted to play a proper Star Fox, and, you know, like the only one I played back in the day was Star Fox Adventures, and that wasn't a true Star Fox, so that was more like Zelda and Star Fox Assault. But I really wanted to play the original, you know, 64, you know, and this is basically a remake, and it was probably the best way to play Star Fox. But, you know, and most of my pre-orders for the Switch 2 are proper cartridges. I've got a few key cards, but I've tried to kind of get as many normal cartridges as possible because I want them to outweigh the key cards. And I'm hoping we get a Nintendo Direct soon to reveal more games. But yeah, I think it's safe to say it's been a really good year for the Switch 2. I'm looking forward to the next 6, 7, 8 years this console brings with games. Obviously the games that come to the, you know, Nintendo Classics that line up as well through the expansion pass and that. But yeah, I can't wait to see what else this console brings in, and I think it's an amazing console. I feel like I didn't feel like this as much with my PS5. You know, I thought it was very similar to the PS4. The Xbox a little bit because, you know, you had backwards compatibility as well, and they were enhanced, some of the games. But this feels like a true generational leap in terms of power and features and all that. I'm hoping we get a new Smash Brothers soon. That's a big one I'm looking forward to if they do that. New 3D Mario. I can go on how many games I want to see. But yeah, if you've got a Switch 2, what are your thoughts on it? Because honestly, I love my Switch 2. I think Street Fighter 6 is my most played game, and I can't wait to see what else comes out.